You think belly fat is a food problem. It's not. It's a stress hormone problem. And the Japanese figured this out centuries before the word cortisol even existed. Here's what nobody is telling you. You could eat less, work out more, count every calorie, and still watch that stubborn belly fat sit there, unmoved, mocking you. That's not a willpower failure. That's biology working against you. And there's one specific daily habit, something most people do completely wrong every single morning, that's keeping your cortisol elevated, your insulin spiked, and your body locked in fat storage mode. Stay with me, because once you see this, you can't unsee it. Problem amplification. Here's what the average person does. They wake up stressed. They skip breakfast or grab something fast. They rush through the day, eat at their desk, scroll their phone at lunch, and crash by 3 p.m. Then they go to the gym. They restrict calories. They try intermittent fasting, keto, cutting carbs, avoiding sugar, and some of it works for a while. But the belly stays, and it's frustrating because you're doing the right things. You've read the articles, you've watched the videos, you know about protein and fiber and walking after meals, but something keeps pulling you back. Here's the problem. You're treating the symptom, not the switch. Picture two women, same age, same body type, same diet, roughly. You eat breakfast in 8 minutes, standing, phone in hand, emails open, finishes, rushes out the door. Healthy women eats the same breakfast, same calories, but they sit down, no phone, quiet. They take 20 minutes, they chew slowly, they finish without rushing. 6 months later, person A has gained weight around the midsection, energy crashes in the afternoon, can't sleep well, cortisol stays elevated all day. Person B has lost inches off their waist, sleeps deeper, less anxious, digestion improved, didn't change the food, didn't go to the gym more, same meal, completely different outcome. How is that possible? This is where it gets interesting. Science simplified. When you eat in a stress state, rushing, distracted, standing, scrolling, your body is still running in fight or flight mode. And in that mode, your body doesn't prioritize digestion. It prioritizes survival. So cortisol stays high, digestion slows down, blood sugar spikes because your body is bracing for a threat. Insulin floods in to manage the spike. And whatever you just ate, a huge portion of it gets stored as fat, specifically visceral fat. The deep belly fat wrapped around your organs. This isn't a metaphor. This is what happens physiologically when your nervous system is activated during a meal. Think of it like a switch. Your body has two modes, burn mode and store mode. Stress flips you into store mode, calm flips you into burn mode. And most people spend the entire day, every meal, every snack, every coffee in store mode. And they wonder why nothing is working. Study proof? A 2013 study published in Obesity Reviews found that chronic cortisol elevation was directly associated with increased abdominal fat accumulation, independent of caloric intake. Independent of calories? Let that land. Another study out of the University of California found that women who reported higher stress levels had significantly higher cortisol reactivity after meals and gained more belly fat over a 5-year period than low-stress counterparts eating the same diet. Same food, more stress, more fat. This isn't theory. The mechanism is documented. This is where people mess it up. Here's the mistake. People try to fix their diet while leaving their nervous system completely wrecked. They optimize what they eat but never how they eat, when they eat, or what state they're in when they eat. They take magnesium supplements at night, but inhale breakfast standing over the sink at 7 a.m. They journal about stress, but eat lunch answering Slack messages. The Japanese don't do this. And this is where the cultural piece completely flips the script. Mechanism deep dive. Here's why the state you eat in matters so much. Your vagus nerve, the main highway between your brain and your gut, controls your parasympathetic nervous system. That's the rest and digest state. When you're calm, that nerve is active. Digestion is efficient, enzymes flow, blood sugar stabilizes, insulin response is measured, fat burning stays on. When you're stressed, the vagus nerve gets suppressed, digestion shuts down partially. Ghrelin, your hunger hormone, spikes. Leptin, your fullness hormone, drops. You don't even register that you're full until it's too late. But here's where it gets interesting. You can manually activate the parasympathetic state before a meal in less than 90 seconds. And the Japanese have been doing exactly this without knowing the neuroscience behind it for centuries. Cultural insight. Japanese angle. In Japan, meal culture is different at a foundational level. There's a concept called Shokuiku, food education, that's actually embedded in school curricula. Children are taught not just what to eat, but how to eat, the environment, the pace, the attention. Meals in traditional Japanese culture are eaten slowly, seated, with minimal distraction. There's a ritual to it. Tea before the meal, smaller plates, thoughtful arrangement. This isn't aesthetics, it's nervous system regulation. Before eating, many Japanese households practice a short moment of gratitude. Itadakimasu, a phrase said before every meal, a pause, a breath, a transition from go mode to receive mode. That small ritual? It's activating the vagus nerve, dropping cortisol, priming digestion. They didn't call it biohacking, they just called it eating properly. Second principle, and then there's Hara Hachi Bu, the Okinawan principle of eating to 80% fullness. Not restriction, not calorie counting, just stopping slightly before you feel full because your brain registers fullness about 15-20 minutes after your stomach does. When cortisol is high, you can't even access that signal. You overeat because your hunger hormones are dysregulated. But when you've lowered cortisol before the meal with that pause, that breath, that moment of stillness, suddenly Hara Hachi Bu isn't discipline. It's just natural. Your body tells you when to stop. You actually hear it? Here's the system. 5 steps. Start tomorrow. Step 1. The 90-second reset. Before every meal, especially breakfast, stop for 90 seconds. No phone, no screen. Sit down. Take 3 slow deep breaths. Exhale longer than you inhale. This single act drops cortisol measurably and activates your vagus nerve. Most people skip this. Don't. Step 2. Eat seated. Always. No exceptions. Eating while standing, walking, or driving keeps your sympathetic nervous system partially activated. It tells your body threat is still present. Store, don't burn. Sit. Every meal. Step 3. Remove the screen. Eating distracted is eating stressed. Even if you feel calm, your brain's attention on a screen fragments the parasympathetic response. Digestion suffers. Fullness signals get delayed. Eat the meal. Watch the screen after. Step 4. Slow the chew. Japanese meals are designed with textures that require chewing. This isn't accidental. Chewing activates cephalic phase digestion. Enzyme release begins in your mouth. Blood sugar response flattens. Satiety hormones activate earlier. Aim for 15-20 chews per bite. Sounds extreme. Do it for 1 meal and notice how differently you feel. Step 5. The post-meal walk, not a workout. A 10-minute walk within 30 minutes of eating. This improves insulin sensitivity by up to 30%, according to research from George Washington University. Blood sugar stabilizes. Cortisol doesn't spike post-meal. Fat storage signals drop. In Japan, this is called sanspo, the gentle post-meal walk, built into daily rhythm, not a habit they force, a habit that became automatic. Timeline of Sadulch. Week 1. You notice you're less hungry after meals. You stop snacking mindlessly at 3 p.m. Energy is more stable. Weeks 2-3, sleep improves. That's cortisol regulation working. Belly bloating starts decreasing. Digestion becomes noticeably smoother. Weeks 4-8, the waistline starts responding. Not because you ate less, because your body stops storing everything out of stress. This is not a quick fix, but it's a real one. Reframe statement. It was never about eating less. It was about eating calm. Your body knows how to burn fat. It's been trying to. You just kept interrupting it with stress. The Japanese didn't invent dieting. They didn't count macros or track steps obsessively. They protected the meal. They treated eating as a signal to the body. You are safe, you can rest, you can digest. Start with 90 seconds of stillness before your next meal. Just that. See what shifts. And if this changed how you think about belly fat, drop a comment below. Tell me what hit hardest. Because the best health advice isn't complicated. It's just been buried under everything louder.